After a long wait, I finally had some spare time, and I decided to answer some of the questions like how to install an operating system on this Crestron touch panels, and furthermore explain why are they used in the dungeons of Barad-dûr by the orcs.
On one especially dark night in Mordor, while sitting in his study, Sauron was monitoring the cameras in the dungeons. You see, he gave orcs Crestron wireless touch panels, and he wanted to make sure that they were handled with care. Now, while orcs are very powerful and formidable in battle, careful and gracious they are not. They just kept dropping panels one after another, so Sauron decided to discipline them. This was unfortunately very bad for morale, because salary cuts were implemented. To solve this problem, Sauron had a great idea. Why not install wall touch panels? In wall touch panels they cannot break, they cannot drop, so all the problems should be solved. And as you can see in this rare picture, Sauron and orcs were very pleased with this solution, and all was good in the land of Mordor.
So let's see what this panel is made of, and let's break it apart.
Once the back cover is open, you can see 512 megabytes of DDR memory, 1 gigabyte of system on disk module, and a custom one-of-a-kind real-time clock battery. The back of the motherboard shows the BIOS chip and Realtek Ethernet chip. The front carries AMD's LX800 processor that is based on Cyrix, and AMD Geode CS5536 companion device. Before we try to install Windows XP on this device, we will back up the existing data with Clonezilla. Version that is shown in this video is the last one that is compatible with TPMC 8L and 8X, so make sure you use the same. Next, we will need the Valena etcher to write Clonezilla ISO to USB, and we will start a program called CoreFTP, which is a mini SFTP server. We'll give it credentials and point it to an empty directory on our computer where we will back up our image from TPMC 8L. With F1 you can boot into BIOS to arrange a boot order, and then plug in the USB to the panel to boot into Clonezilla. Select device to image option, and to start networking I will just choose SSH server and DHCP. At this point you can use Ctrl+C to drop to terminal, as we will create a directory test under MNT folder and mount it to our SFTP location from CoreFTP. The folder test is mounted, list all the drives with fdisk app, as we will need to know which one to back up. Once you have it, make sure you're within the MNT test folder and use DDApp to back up the drive. While you're backing up, CoreFTP should show a client that is connected and transferring. You can see that the image is an archive basically, that you can open with 7-zip and navigate through each partition to extract drivers that you need. When everything is backed up, we will use Nlight to create our custom Windows XP installation. I will use a backup from my old laptops which contained XP Source Pack 3, and I will strip them down with Nlight. you need to either mount your XP ISO or navigate to your CD/DVD that contains your installation files and point to a location where you want them copied. I will leave my session files on Google Drive in case you don't want to fiddle with settings yourself. You can just place them in the folder where all XP data will be copied by Nlight, then run the program and select the same session from the video. As the TPMC 8-hour drive is too small, just make sure that the free space requirement is disabled as well as memory requirement, otherwise the installation will fail. Make sure that you use Win setup from USB, as other software cannot make the USB bootable on this panel. You will need to prepare the USB and install grub for DOS, mount the newly made ISO from Nlight, and start the copy process. I additionally copied all the drivers and software for some serious testing, as it was requested on my previous video. Be advised that installation of any operating system on this panel is a serious test in patience. Most of these clips are sped up 2 to 10 times, otherwise this video would last for hours. So if you're testing any Linux or if you're installing any system, just make sure you have plenty of patience. once the installation is finally done, my kids told me to use their toys in this video in one way or another, so I added these ferocious kaiju to the background. They unfortunately did not help speed up the installation of all the drivers on it. You will notice straight away once Touchpanel is installed that everything is recognized in reverse. So just run the calibration process and it will sort itself out.
Now it's time to seriously test this panel and see if it can handle the devil's minions in Doom.
And as we destroy the last of the minions in the first level of Doom, we come to the end of line for this video. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you in the next one.